When the Millennium Development Goals were rolled out by the United Nations some 15 years ago, the use of data was much different from today. In developed countries, the reliance on digital technology is clearly obvious just by observing the impacts from technological advances like social media, mobile apps, and online shopping and their influence in our day-to-day living. Be it as it may, such advances in technology can have a magnifying effect in developing nations if applied constructively. For what could not be imagined 15 years ago has now become a reality. What we use to improve our fitness and physical appearance could be used to save lives, and what we use for entertainment and keeping in touch with friends can also be used for education and others. As we approach the eve of the Sustainable Development Goals Rollout Plan, the United Nations are specifically encouraging countries around the world to use data and technology as a fundamental tool to deliver an adequate level of well-being. Why? Because access to data now provides a gateway to many basic needs for living. Mobile devices and cloud technology are rapidly changing the landscape in terms of data storage and management, as well as access to information. Private enterprises in developing nations are now increasingly able to offer customer services that until only a few years ago would have been unfeasible. For example, banks no longer have to provide expensive traditional branches in regions to offer people basic financial services. Farmers can now obtain affordable insurance policies against unseasonal weather patterns that damage crops. Medical advice and diagnosis is becoming more available to people in remote regions where doctors and skilled practitioners are scarce. And recent innovative strides now allow connectivity in remote regions at a fraction of the cost of traditional infrastructure. Whilst we have achieved great progress with the Millennium Development Goals, there is much more that remains to be done. It is estimated that approximately 230 million children around the globe have no registration. Children do not receive education due to inadequate resources. Many people still lack a basic bank account. Millions remain unconnected and frozen out of time as a result of poor network coverage. In years gone by, it was justified to treat financial cost as an obstacle to sustainable development. While it is still a matter to consider, it can no longer be used as a reason for not taking measures. Already, we are seeing private enterprises take advantage of falling costs in data management, storage, mobile devices, and increasing availability of cloud technology. This has empowered the private sector in developing nations, such that companies, amongst others, are now extending their networks to reach new customers in remote regions. Also, governments now have a raft of opportunities to achieve sustainable development for their countries by taking full advantage of cloud technology. The ICT4SDG Summit will engage on the IT framework required for achieving set targets of the Sustainable Development Goals as outlined by the United Nations. The objective of the summit is to realize data revolution in support of national and regional priorities for more effective and efficient statistical production and service through capacity development. The ICT4SDG Summit will bring together key leading bodies within the ICT industry as well as policy and decision makers from countries worldwide. The SDGs represent a global incentive, an incentive to once and for all provide the essential tools for building prosperity around the world. Make this an opportunity for you, your organization, and your country to partake in fostering vital relations that will create a gateway to improve the basic well-being for all. Let's make history together.